Today is May 5th, 2025. We have severe weather over the next 48 hours going through Wednesday, and this is going to include damaging winds, large to very large hail, and some tornadoes out there as well. Heavy rainfall could cause some flash flooding over the next 48 hours as well. And then we're going to look ahead to your Mother's Day forecast for this weekend and give you a diagnosis on temperatures and precipitation ahead, and then go into the middle of May and talk about the weather pattern in the long range as well. So if you are here, make sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest accurate and reliable weather information here on YouTube. We do daily weather forecast videos, long range outlooks, monthly weather outlooks on this channel. So make sure to subscribe, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. So let's look here at our severe weather outlook as we go through today, Monday, May 5th. We have a 3 out of 5 on the risk scale. The closer to 5 you are, the more likely the environment is for severe weather. So pretty likely over here into West Texas and Southeast New Mexico today at a 3 out of 5 in orange, 2 out of 5 surrounding that in yellow, and dark green is a 1 out of 5. We have a 2 out of 5 as well up into eastern Ohio, into West Virginia, Pennsylvania, down through Maryland, Virginia, and North Carolina. So essentially the eastern Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic as we go through today. And then going into tomorrow, we have a 2 out of 5 on the risk scale from central East Texas over there into western Louisiana, a 1 out of 5 on the risk scale up there in New York State, northeastern Pennsylvania, and northern New Jersey. So let's look here at the first 5 days so far of May, and it's been warm across the Pacific Northwest, warmer than normal, that is. Same thing over here into the eastern seaboard, especially for the mid-Atlantic. A little bit cooler in between from the Great Lakes down here into the southern plains, and that has a lot to do with cloud cover and some precipitation we have been seeing as of late. And let's look at the first 4 or 5 days of May. The precipitation has actually been quite heavy down here into the Sooner State of Oklahoma, the Lone Star State of Texas, over here into Arkansas, Louisiana, southern Missouri, through the Ohio, Tennessee valleys, and up into the Northeast. You see these oranges and reds. That's where we're picking up anywhere from 2 to as much as 4 inches of rain and a maximum of 10 inches of rain in southwestern Oklahoma here over the first 4 or 5 days so far of May. So what we have on tap for today is some severe weather. The main area of concern is West Texas over here into southeast New Mexico. There is a 3 out of 5 on the risk scale there in orange, but we are also keeping an eye on that up there into the northeast mid-Atlantic as well. Now, the hazards these storms could bring could be damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. Could be seeing upwards to 80 mile per hour winds in West Texas here as we go into late this evening into the overnight hours with those storms off the dry line. Also keeping an eye on the large to very large hail threat. We actually could be seeing hailstones up to softball size across southeastern New Mexico and West Texas as we go into late this evening and into the overnight hours. And then we are also keeping an eye on the tornado risk as well. We have a 5% chance of tornadoes in brown. In the green, that's a 2% chance, and that extends over there into east central Texas. And then also east coast of Florida there. We could be watching out for some tornadoes and waterspouts later on today as well. So let's talk about the easternmost risk of severe weather in the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast and the Ohio Valley. As we go into the early this afternoon, we're watching scattered showers and thunderstorms, those individual thunderstorm cells, and they could be producing damaging winds, large hail, and an isolated tornado threat. As we go to the 4 o'clock hour, notice that becomes more numerous with coverage of showers and storms. Any one of these could be capable of producing those hazards we talked about, damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. And then as we lose the daytime heating early on this evening, as the sun sets, the atmosphere will stabilize, and eventually we'll see the coverage and intensity of these storms weaken and dwindle as we go into the evening hours. Now let's look at the south central United States here into New Mexico, West Texas. We have some showers ongoing, a few rumbles of thunder as well early this afternoon, but we're watching the dry line as it pushes from eastern New Mexico eastward into the Texas Panhandle and West Texas later on this evening. That's when we're going to start to see some supercell thunderstorms develop really around 7 to 9 o'clock this evening Central Time, and they could pose risks of hurricane force wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour, very large to giant hailstones up to softball size, and the potential for a few tornadoes even overnight. So make sure to have your NOAA weather radio handy and have multiple ways to receive severe weather watches and warnings across West Texas, especially as we go into the overnight hours. This is 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, and notice individual thunderstorm cells, those are supercells, and they could cause problems with hail, winds, and tornadoes, and that will start to shift eastward towards central Texas during the wee hours of the morning there on Tuesday, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So Abilene, the western side of the DFW Metroplex down there towards San Antonio, it's going to be knocking on your door early Tuesday morning. Now going into Tuesday, we have a 2 out of 5 on the risk scale in central East Texas, over there into western Louisiana in yellow. In the dark green, that is a 1 out of 5 on the risk scale. We are also monitoring a little area up here into New York State, northeastern Pennsylvania, into northern New Jersey for severe weather. That is a 1 out of 5 as well. But the main corridor is down here near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Waco, Tyler, College Station, down here into Houston and Beaumont, over into areas near Lake Charles and Shreveport, Louisiana. We're keeping an eye on that. Damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour will be possible. And then we're looking at the hail threat, large to very large hail. Hailstones down near the Waco region, San Antonio, and Houston could be pushing up to baseball size tomorrow. And then we could see a few tornadoes possible in the brown. That's a 5% chance of tornadoes for areas like Tyler, Texas, for example, College Station, and just to the north of Houston. And then including the Houston Metroplex, all the way back to Abilene, all the way eastward there, almost to New Orleans, we have a 2% chance of tornadoes in green, and that's within a 25-mile radius. Now, let's look here at the radar, at least the simulation of the radar, what it could look like early tomorrow morning. Notice 7 o'clock in the morning, very messy storm mode here. We got a lot of showers and thunderstorms moving across Texas. As we go throughout the day, this is 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and you can see these storms are going to intensify with the peak heating of the day, and these are going to be capable of producing severe weather, damaging winds, large to very large hail, and a few tornadoes. And then whatever happens in the afternoon, if we see this complex of showers and storms hanging around through the day, it's going to squelch the environment for the afternoon and evening for additional thunderstorm development. And that could actually squelch the severe threat for round 2 later on in the day. Now, if the complex of showers and storms is much weaker or less widespread than expected, then the severe weather threat later in the day would be a little bit more vigorous, and that means the enhanced risk may be needed across eastern Texas for an upgrade. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go into tomorrow. But nonetheless, the risks are there with 1 to 2 rounds potentially of severe weather and some very heavy rainfall, right? We're going to be seeing quite a bit of rainfall with this, which could cause some flash flooding. Great news, midweek, Wednesday, May 7th, the severe weather threat goes by the wayside. We're just seeing some general thunderstorms here as we go to the middle of the week, but that's not before these complexes of storms put down some very heavy rainfall here in the south central U.S. from the Front Range in Colorado and New Mexico all the way back into the lower Mississippi Valley. We're talking rainfall of multiple inches, up to 5 inches potentially in some areas. Up here to the northeast, the I-95 corridor, Boston, Hartford, and New York City, including Long Island, we could be seeing some very heavy rainfall there as well. But let's first talk about Oklahoma, Texas, and the surrounding states here. A lot of areas, widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain, isolated areas of 4 to 6 inches here across portions of Colorado, into eastern New Mexico, Oklahoma here, into Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, eastward over there into Mississippi and northwestern Alabama, and that causes concern for flooding here for multiple days. We have a slight risk of flooding potential in eastern New Mexico and West Texas as we go into today. A moderate risk of flash flooding, actually an upgrade across East Texas along and east of the I-35 corridor, southern Arkansas into Louisiana and Mississippi going into tomorrow. And then Wednesday, the flooding threat of a slight risk is mainly down there towards the mouth of the Mississippi River into southern Louisiana and southern portions of Mississippi. Now let's look at the areas here further to the east. We mentioned Boston could be seeing an inch or two of rain. Hartford, you could be seeing 4 inches of rain between now and Thursday morning. New York City, same deal. Long Island, much of Long Island seeing some very heavy rainfall. You get outside of those areas, more spotty rainfall amounts up to an inch or so. And then out west, very dry near the west coast. We have some moisture though in the Four Corners region. So Utah, western Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, all the way up to Wyoming there, eastern Idaho and Montana. Could be seeing some pockets there of over an inch worth of rain going through Thursday, May 8th. Now, going into Mother's Day weekend itself, we're going to be seeing some warmer weather starting to build across the north, but heading into next week in general, we're going to be seeing quite a bit of some warmer weather hanging around across the northern U.S. So let's look here at our temperatures for today. This is today's high temperatures, 80s across portions of the upper Midwest and northern plains. Going into tomorrow, we see the same deal. 90s there in Florida, and then going into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a lot of warmth here. Very hot though across the desert Southwest. As you can expect, temperatures are going to be into the triple digits down there in Phoenix, Death Valley, all the way down into Las Vegas as we go in through the week this week. Now let's look at Mother's Day here. Like we mentioned, Saturday, May 10th through Sunday, May 11th, warmest of our air above normal temperatures, 25 degrees above normal. From southern Canada into the western third of the United States. Eastern United States will be below normal by 20 degrees below normal there. So for Saturday, May 10th, the warmest air obviously will be down here into Arizona, Southern California. We're going to be seeing triple digit heat, but look at the rest of the country. Can't argue with this. 70s and 80s as we go into Saturday, May 10th, and then Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11th. A little bit warmer there into the northern U.S. like the Dakotas and Nebraska over there into eastern Montana. Temperatures could be in the mid and upper 80s and then 70s across the eastern United States going into that time frame. Now, at the same token, we're going to be seeing drier weather. The big blue H means high pressure, and that's going to give us lots of sunshine here as we go into the weekend ahead for Mother's Day weekend. And our active storm track will be up and over top of that high pressure into southern Canada and underneath down here into the Caribbean. So that means drier weather overall for most of us, 90% of us across the United States and even southern Canada as we go into Mother's Day there on Sunday, May 11th. A little bit of some wet weather there in the Northeast lingering around and Florida, but Florida needs the rainfall, so we won't argue with that at all. Now, going into next week, this is Monday, May 12th, a week from today, going through Saturday, May 17th. Ridge of high pressure swings over to the east here into the eastern Great Lakes and southeastern Canada, and a trough comes in across the west. And this is a look that actually could give us some problems down into the middle of May, right? We have warmer temperatures across the central and eastern U.S. as we go into next week. The 12th through the 17th of May, cooler out across the west, and the clash of the air masses right in between. We have to watch for a cold front to come through for the potential of more heavy rain and flash flooding, but also some rounds of severe weather, including the potential even for a severe weather outbreak. Look at the storm energy really building here in the middle of the country as we go into that 12th through the 17th time frame, and it's building across portions of the plains toward the Midwest, and this could give us multiple episodes of some big thunderstorm clusters that could produce damaging winds, large hail, and some tornadoes. And I'm not even ruling out, again, a severe weather outbreak during this time frame. And looking at the heavy rainfall right now from the Midwest, lower Midwest, that would be like Illinois and Iowa, down into Missouri, but the central southern plains, Kansas, Oklahoma, and North Texas will be keeping an eye on that as well. Drier in the east and drier across the southwest here as we go into next week. Now, going to the third week there in May 17th through the 24th, ridge of high pressure remains across the east and south central U.S. Troughs coming in across the west, which means warmer temperatures in the central eastern U.S., cooler temperatures with below normal, with the blues here across the west, and that means an active storm track here across portions of the United States. Now, exactly where this happens is very key. Right now, the European extended ensemble guidance showing it more up there into the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, which would be beneficial news for the farmers up here that have planted their corn and soybeans to try and grow those up here as we go through the late portion of May, drying out near the Gulf Coast. Now, as we go here into the long range using the GFS extended ensemble, a little bit different tune, right? It shows the plains into the northern Rockies more with the above normal precipitation, and the upper Midwest not as active and also not as dry down near the Gulf Coast. So that's something we're going to have to figure out going into the long range, but nonetheless, This is a chart of the accumulated supercell composite parameter space, and basically that's just fancy for severe weather's coming back, right? As we go into the middle and late portion of May, notice the 16th, 17th, 18th there on the chart, the lines are going above normal, above that red and a dash line there, which is 0, and that means the environments are going to become more suitable, more favorable for severe weather once we go into the middle and late portion there of May. Well, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I definitely appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next update.